Art Global is a television program about modern Kazakh culture in the global world. The best works of modern Kazakh culture in literature, theater, cinema, classical and traditional music, and fine arts are performed at the world's notable venues. Today's Art Global program presents Kurmangazy Kazakh State Academy Orchestra, which has opened its 85th concert season. It is one of the oldest ensembles of the country. Kurmangazy Orchestra is the first national professional ensemble in the history of instrumental music. Great musician Akhmet Zhubanov is its founder and first artistic director. Famous Kazakh musicians including Nurgisa Tlendiev, Yermek Serkebayev, Bibigul Tolegenova, and Kulyash Baiseitova worked in our orchestra. Today, our objective is to preserve the traditions and promote our national music all over the world.
Қазіргі мақсатымыз еліміздің жаһандану кезінде төл өнерімізді әлемге насихаттау, елімізге насихаттау болып табылады.
The ensemble's history began in 1934. The orchestra secured its place as the major ensemble of national musical art. The archive of the famous orchestra has the records of triumphal performances in Europe, Asia, and the United States. This time, we will get acquainted with the original Kazakh culture through music in colorful Spain. Having founded a small village near the Manzanares River, the Arabs did not expect that after a few centuries it would be the center of the powerful Spanish Empire and owned the colonies and seas. Even in December, Madrid welcomes tourists with bright sunshine, green lawns, flowering trees, and playful fountains. The city's architectural design is the result of the fusion of cultures of the Mediterranean and Europe, and to this day, Madrid is a must-see destination for writers, artists, and musicians. As usual, it is crowded at the Plaza de España. This is one of the favorite places of Madrid residents and visitors. But this time, those who had gathered in the square saw something different from the typical tourist site. The soloists of the Kazakh ensemble decided to stage a performance here. A crowd of tourists gathered near Don Quixote and Sancho Panza. And now, besides the usual photo against the background of the monument, tourists could have unforgettable videos featuring the step melodies. The tours of the Kazakh soloists were held as part of the framework of the modernization of Kazakhstan's identity program, with the support of Kazakh Ministry of Culture and Sports. Each performance of one of the country's oldest orchestras is an unforgettable presentation of the Kazakh musical culture, step motifs, and unique musical instruments.
Елбасымыздың ұлы даланың 7 қыры атты бағдарлама шықты. Сол бағдарламаның бір қырында
Nursultan Nazarbayev's 2018 article, 7 Facets of the Great Steppe, has been published recently. One of the tasks was to popularize our national music in this article. Last year, we gave a concert titled Melodies of the Great Steppe at the headquarters of UNESCO in Paris. We performed the same program in Bulgaria and Uzbekistan. This year, we started our concert season in Spain. We want to show the Spanish people our culture, and perhaps we would be able to attract more tourists to our country.
Экономикалық туристерді тарту мақсатында осы концерттарына ұйымдастырып отырмыз.
The musical performance was scheduled to take place in the Chamber Hall of the National Music Auditorium, which is part of the National Institute of Performing Arts and Music. The construction of the auditorium was completed in 1988, and since then, the National Spanish Orchestra and Choir is based there. Before the construction of the National Music Auditorium in Madrid, there was no modern concert venue. Symphony orchestras were performed in the Royal and other theaters in the city. Since the official opening at the end of the 20th century, the auditorium is considered to be the main concert venue in the metropolitan area. The organization of this concert took almost 1 year. It was quite difficult to find a hall, because the schedule of all the concert halls is fully booked for years. The applications are sent at least 2 years before, but thanks to the support of the Embassy of Kazakhstan in Spain, we managed to get a hall in the National Music Auditorium. It is a great honor to perform here. Many famous musicians from all over the world performed here.
Kurmangazy оркестрінің концертіне арнайы беріп отыр.
The concert program Melodies of the Great Steppe is a collection of works written by Kazakh composers. It is the so-called golden collection of the country's musical art with musical compositions. I play Korket Atas Kui, a traditional musical composition. We all know him. He lived in the 8th century. A kui is called konir. It is very famous, and you can even say that this composition has a deep philosophical meaning. I play kobus. This is our national instrument made of wood and strings made of horsehair. The sound of kobus is very pleasant. It is a bit sad and philosophical. The National Orchestra soloist feels no anxiety about her solo performance as she has an extensive experience. I have been playing the instrument for 16 years. I graduated from the music school named after Akhmet Zhubanov, and then I studied at the Kurmangazy Orchestra. During my student years, I won a competition and had a chance to play in the orchestra. The unique concert program created for the Spanish public also features immortal classical works written by Vivaldi, Strauss, and Bizet. The soloists perform by playing Kazakh musical instruments. Classical works, familiar to many viewers, appear in a completely new version and sparkle with new colors. The soloists of Kurmangazy State Orchestra can perform not only traditional music, but also foreign works as well. Among them is the overture from Georges Bizet's opera, Carmen, performed by the famous opera singer Sundet Baigozhin. We play Gioacchino Rossini's opera, The Barber of Seville, as well as the works from the repertoire of Imre Kalvan's aria of Silva. Ablay Tlendiev has been appointed the orchestra's chief conductor recently, and these are the first foreign tours in his professional career as a musician. He continued his academic career through a master's degree in the class of conductor. Before I became the conductor of the Kurmangazy Orchestra, I was the principal conductor of the student orchestra of the Kurmangazy Kazakh National Conservatory. Of course, the student orchestra is quite a different job. We have a professional team with a rich history. Our famous dombra players are musicians who became famous all over the world. Of course, it was not easy to get into this orchestra. I can say this is the dream of every Kazakh conductor. Here, the age of the musician does not matter, because this is a professional team where everyone is a master of his or her craft. Therefore, if you are a professional, then everyone will always understand you, no matter whether you are young or more experienced.
Бұл Kurmangazy оркестрі шығармашылық жағынан өте былайша айтқанда профессионалдық оркестр. Әрине оңай болған жоқ.
The entire team of the Almaty Orchestra went on a tour. In total, there are 82 musicians in the orchestra, and many of them started their career in a renowned team. They still work here, and they continue to preserve and transfer traditions to a new generation. I work in an orchestra since 1968. The great musician Shamgon Kazhgaliev invited me to perform in the orchestra. This year marks the 50th anniversary since I work here. I'm very happy to work in this ensemble. Over the years, we have been on tour in many countries, and we had a chance to represent our country and perform our great music, our songs, and kui. At one of the concerts in the United States, one senator approached us and said that when he listened to our music, it feels like he was in paradise. This means that we were able to show our culture at the highest level, that our music touched the souls of the audience.
Музыкасының қандай екенін ел жұрттың бәріне таныстырып өттік.
At the moment, the orchestra is performing the legendary Saryaka Kui, a Kazakh traditional musical composition written by Kurmangazy at the Chamber Hall of the National Auditorium. The invited soloists, including honored workers of Kazakhstan, Sundet Baygojen and Aizada Kaponova, will perform with the orchestra at the concert.
С оркестром Kurmangazy.
I have already performed with the Kurmangazy Orchestra more than once abroad. Today we perform in Spain, in Madrid. We will perform and sing the best works of opera masterpieces and of course folk songs. It is always a great honor for me to perform with the Kurmangazy Orchestra. It is one of the greatest orchestras of our country. And all this, of course, thanks to our independence. We can sing and represent our art in other countries. Here comes the warm evening. Gradually, the spacious hall of the National Music Auditorium is full of people. At the opening ceremony of the concert, the ambassador of Kazakhstan to Spain, Konstantin Zhigalov, made a welcoming speech. He noted the strong trade and economic relations between the two countries. He said that much attention was paid to the development of cultural ties. Over the past few months, a center of Kazakh literature was opened in Madrid at one of the country's leading libraries. It was also decided that a 2-volume anthology of Kazakh prose and poetry will be published. We see great interest as we have sold out performance. Even people from other cities ask for tickets. Today we have the representatives of the Kazakh diaspora, cultural workers, scientists and business people. An hour-and-a-half concert went by as 1 minute. The audience enthusiastically plunged into the world of step melodies, which was previously unknown to them.
Ha sido muy bonito, muy variado.
I have the most positive opinion of the concert. I was really impressed by the diverse concert program, which made the concert easy to understand. Most of all, I liked the excerpts from famous operas performed by Kazakh singers, accompanied by Kazakh musical instruments. They sounded in a new way. This concert is a great opportunity to present Kazakhstan in Spain.
Los trozos de ópera que han cantado los solistas de la ópera de Kazajstán. Quiero aprovechar también esta ocasión.
For some of the spectators, this concert served as a time machine. It brought back the times when they lived and worked in Kazakhstan, which they recall with great warmth and pleasure.
It was very, I didn't expect it was going to be so varied. We have listened Spanish musical pieces. This is one of the main reasons I came today to the concert, because I wanted to, in a sense, to think about my times in Kazakhstan, where I spent four months in the Spanish pavilion at the Astana Expo. Obviously, I came across with many Kazakhs, and with many of them I had a last enduring friendship with them.
Публика, которая приходит сюда слушать концерты, это достаточно изысканная, избалованная публика.
Today we have the sophisticated audience at the concert. In my opinion, the quality of the concert can be seen by the warmth that the viewer leaves at the end after the concert. And if you notice, the audience welcomed the soloists with warmth and smiles. It was a great success. This music brings joy. We are glad that thanks to your concert today in Madrid, we knew more about your country and culture.
Которая, благодаря вашему концерту, сегодня в Мадриде, я думаю, что вечер стал красивее, добрее и приятнее. И вот публика не расходится, это значит, концерт удался.
The cultural events and musical performances help to feel and understand the culture of another nation in one evening. The concentration of talent per square meter of the stage is great, as well as the high level of inspirations behind the scenes, on the stage and in the hall. These are not just soloists. They touch the strings of the soul with their musical talent, leaving a deep experience as a memory. In fact, this is what art exists for.